up, everybody? Today I'm sitting down with Mr. Jordan Gast once again to get his thoughts leading up to his upcoming fight on August 9th with HRMMA 126 to defend his title of bantamweight champion against Chance Edmonds on one of the most stacked cards I've seen this year, man. How you doing, brother?
Doing good. Appreciate you having me out here, man. I loved the podcast last time, dude. A bunch of people that watched it reached out to me, said they loved it. Even my last opponent said it was a great podcast. So really appreciate you having me out here.
Awesome. Everybody I've talked to said it was great. I'm so glad that you enjoyed coming on. I love having you on. Thank you for taking time again out of your schedule to come sit down with me. I see you got your Hard Rock shirt on. Did you get that when you won your
yes, sir.
there?
Yes, sir. Got that when I won that last one.
Awesome. Last time you were here, you were fighting Damian Sanders for the title, and you brought home the belt with a round one heel hook. You got the job done. So talk me through that fight and tell me what it means to bring that belt back for you, Jim.
Just like everything we talked before the fight, I just knew I had that experience. I just got that age on them. I've had title fights under my fight. I was just comfortable in there. I just knew once I got it to the ground, it was game over. And I didn't think I'd catch the heel hook, honestly. I was trying to isolate an arm. I thought I'd fake an Americana, hit the arm bar. He had done good on pushing off the cage, exposed the leg. So I took the leg as if it was an arm and got the heel hook in on that. And we've been training that for a long time. I jumped in with my Rising Tide team, and they have just shown me nothing but leg entanglements. Have worked it with me. And before that fight, that's what we were doing. We would just start in 50-50 position and just go from there. And that really paid off for me. So super happy with that. My first ankle lock submission, so I'm super happy with that as well. Get that on the resume.
It was a super quick fight. I was actually trying to find the replay footage of it, but I couldn't find any. I was going to ask if it was something that he did in the fight that you had just kind of jumped on, or if it was something that you had to plan for leading.
If you watch all my fights, most of the fights that I have won, I win within a minute and a half, a minute and 10 seconds. I'm pretty good at getting the takedown fast and finding a submission pretty quickly. I've had tough fights too. When they go to decision, though, I just don't seem to have a whole lot of luck with that. So, my kickboxing fight, I made it to the third round and got the TKO there. But in my MMA fights, I've not been able to find that rhythm in the later rounds. So I'm really wanting to work that, but it's just I don't have a zero. It's 100 every second. When they start that clock, I'm looking to go. I'm not stalling. I'm not trying to push the fight to the distance. I like to get it done. I have a 100% finish rate on my wins, and I'm trying to keep it that way. I don't. I've only had, I think, one fight go to decision, and I hated it. I hated it just because it went to decision. I hated it. I like to kill or be killed. I don't like for it to go to the judges, and I'm just nothing that he did. It's just something that I do.
With this being your first title defense, does that add any extra pressure for you, or do you think it was harder to get the belt than it would be to defend it?
I believe it was a little more pressure to get the belt because that was something I've always wanted. Now I got it, and I just have to defend it. I don't feel any extra pressure, but just the same amount of pressure I have on any other fight. I want to win just as bad as any other fight. I feel like I have the advantage of having it though. And I feel like I deserve it, and I'm ready to defend it. So. I believe if I can defend it this one time, as long as, everybody's cool with it, I believe it'd be time to go pro. I've done enough amateur fights. I've proven that I show up every time, injury or not. So I believe it's time to go pro after this, as long as, the fight goes as planned.
In our first talk, we talked a lot about, you wanted to be the first one to bring the belt back to your gym. It would mean a lot to you. So how does that feel to actually bring it back?
It feels great. It feels awesome. The week after that fight, was the fair, and we got a booth there, so we got to put our belts and medals out there, and for a little bit of greedy reasons, it feels great to be the first one to bring a belt here, be in the gas tank and stuff. Job's not over though. I definitely want to defend the belt, but now I want to get other people to get belts in here and bring them in here and have other champions along with me. I'm excited for that to come.
Yeah, speaking of your other crew there, I was at Future Fighting. I got to see you do some cornering over there. And what are some things you think are most important when you're cornering a fighter?
I love Future Fighting, first of all. Phil Perkins, he's an awesome dude. I love that he gets those fights. He's got a great gym, a great crew. He's actually going to come do a seminar here at Gas Tank in late August, early September. I love his mind. I'm ready to pick at it here on the gym. Yeah, I've been cornering all over the place. Amongst the kids and the adults, I'm pretty much busy every weekend. Yesterday, I was at the Naga tournament in Cincy. I had two of my highest ranked kids win belts and the Naga swords. Other multiple kids win medals. Great tournament yesterday. That was all the way in Cincy. 2 weeks before that, I was cornering in a kickboxing event with one of my coaches here. And then before that was the Future of Fighting, Darren and Austin. Constantly busy with the cornering and coaching. And I love it. I mean, I'm glad to have that. I appreciate it. It is a little, mind baffling transitioning from coach to competitor, back to coach, back to competitor. So I'm glad I do have a lot of other coaches on site to help relieve some of that for me. That way I can just focus on, my camp. And then when they need me to corner, wrap hands, whatever, I'm there for them. When it comes to cornering, I hardly go inside the cage or the ring. I'm there to wrap hands. I'm there to help warm up the guys. I'll shout out whatever I can see. But I have my other coaches on deck to be more coaches. That's what they're more, is just coaches. And I'm more of a competitor right now. So I love it. I'm still learning my tricks behind it, and I'm watching other, like Philip Perkins. I watch him as he corners, and just try to get that experience in cornering. That way I can make my fighters more comfortable and relaxed during the fight.
It's really impressive to watch Phil, especially at future fighting events when he's running around shaking hands and everything. Then he's in the corner, and then he's running around getting all the other stuff done. So
yeah.
And I think they went to California last night for the. Was it the?
He's been to Florida, California. He's all over the place too. And I like his style where he's so super busy too. I'm trying to get that way. I'm trying to stay super busy with the gym, constantly just showing attention to my students no matter where they go. When I was up and coming, I've been to a lot of tournaments where I didn't have a team with me. I didn't have coaches with me. So I know that feeling, and I love to just have my students know that somebody's there for them no matter what. I don't care how far the tournament is. I don't care how tough the tournament is. I don't care if you think you're going to lose every match. I'm going to be there with you, and I'll be there with you in the wins and losses. So I can only, hope to be as busy as Philip Perkins one day where he's all over the place like he is. I'm excited to have that, and we're just keeping the grind going towards that.
Yeah. Is he what are some other guests that you've had at your gym kind of coaching, or is he going to be the first?
So we just had Jake O'Brien, UFC veteran. He just come in and did a seminar. It was a couple weeks ago. He's been going over some MMA with us, a lot of wrestling since he was a very high credentialed wrestler. He's from Indiana. I've known him since I started my fight career. We met honestly off the mat. Got to know him as a person first, and he's a really great guy. The love for the sport he has is truly amazing, and I was super happy to be able to get him in. That was his second time coming in. We have him in typically twice a year for seminars, what we're trying to do. We got Dylan Earnrider. That is my black belt from Rising Tide Community Training. They're down south from where we're at here at this gym. He is a 10th Planet black belt, and he is just a wizard. It's amazing what he does. And that was the team that got me in on the ankle locks and leg lock submissions. My game's completely changed as I've gotten with them. I've been heel hooking and ankle locking and knee barring all the time now, and that's thanks to those guys over there. We have a seminar with them. We're getting Phil Perkins in for a seminar. We're in talks with Nikki Sullivan. She is a world champion in jiu-jitsu, multiple-time world champion, huge tournament placer. She's great. She does a lot of Panda Guard, so she's going to be coming in doing a seminar over Panda Guard. Just always trying to keep fresh minds in here. We've had tons of black belts in here. I can't even name them all off. People that are just specific. We have Seth. He's from Columbus POW Boxing. He's come in and just done boxing seminars. So there's always trying to keep fresh minds in here and brilliant minds that we see already doing great things and coaching great athletes. That we try to get them in here and pick at their brains. And we appreciate every one of them sharing their knowledge with us. Some people are greedy with their knowledge. We're all about sharing it here, and we love for those people to share their knowledge with us. And I think we've gotten so much better after they have come in and done their seminars. I see moves being used. I learn a lot from it as well. I'm still on my journey, and I love being in a position where I'm with my students learning. I don't like my students looking at me and thinking like I'm above them, because I am not. I'm with them. Still. I'm on these mats. I'm learning with them. So I'm constantly trying to get coaches in where I'm learning with my students, and we're using it together and getting better.
I was going to say, what do you kind of look for in a coach when you're deciding on who you're inviting, or are they coming in to offer them to come into your gym. But seems like you're right on the heels of Philip Perkins being as busy as you are. It sounds like your gym's getting pretty busy. But
My sole purpose right now is just focusing on the gym. I focus on my family too. Obviously, I love my family. I got 3 little girls, and I got my wife. I got the fighter's curse where I got nothing but girls as kids. That they love the gym, and and thanks to my girlfriend Morgan, she does a lot of things off the mats for me to where I can focus more on the gym and focus more on just being a coach to these students. And it's truly amazing, just being able to coach this team and stay busy like I have been, and because I get inspired by watching my students fight and stuff. It inspires me to keep fighting and to watch my students, go through the grind and go out there and perform like they do. It inspires me, and what we got going on here at Gast HRMMA has been great, and I can only hope to stay busy like we have been.
what's the age range on the students you teach?
So with the kids class, I typically start them at 5 years old. It's 5 to 12 years old for the kids class. I'll do private lessons with 3 and 4 year olds until they're ready. And then the adults is, I have some kids that go from kids class to adult class all on the same day. But typically they'll bounce in there about 12, 14 years old. And we got people up to the age of 50. I'm 30. We got a bunch of 20-year-olds. We got a lot of the teens in. So we got a very large variety of age in here, and different goals too. We do have a lot of competitors here. I'd like to consider us a competitive gym. We're on a lot of scenes. We're on a kickboxing scene. We're on the wrestling scene. We're on the jiu-jitsu scene, MMA. So I'd like to say we're pretty competitive based, but we do have the hobbyists in here too. People that just come here because they enjoy the camaraderie that we have and the family that we built here. We love those people just as much, and they help the team out more than what they know, with the competitors and stuff. Wide variety age. We do have a lot of mainly 7 to 10-year-olds in the kids class. We've had a few 5-year-olds hop in. I think there's, you how kids are. The attention span ain't quite there. But we got a great kids class. I have about 11 to 15 a night. Like I said, we just competed. I had 5 compete this past weekend. Everybody brought medals back, belts, swords. We compete pretty often. At least once a month, we'll see a jiu-jitsu tournament with the kids. And constantly, I can't remember the last time, that we didn't get a medal for going. And we won team medals as well. We've gotten first place. We got second place at the Fuji in Columbus, but that was with a bunch of big teams there. And to get second there as a 2-year school, it was awesome, and I'm glad to do that. I'm proud of these kids, and I can't thank them enough.
Yeah, I think that's awesome that you can. And it's got to be great to watch them bring back their medals and stuff. I know they've got to be super excited. It is impressive too, like you said, it's your second year gym coming in and just being able to go through and actually show results is really awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Switching back to your fight, what would be your perfect fight coming up to this August?
Another submission under a minute and a half. All respect to Chase, and I think he's only going to get better from this fight regardless. But I plan on going out there and doing what I do, and that's taking you down and submitting you quickly. I don't see it going past the first round. And I believe I got it wherever it goes. I've been practicing stand-up. I've been practicing on the cage. I've been practicing on the ground. I believe wherever this fight goes, I'm going to be comfortable there. But I just don't see, honestly, anybody in the region right now stopping my takedowns and stopping my submission. I'm just too sharp right now. I've been drilling it too much. That experience is just carrying perfect, and I'm confident. I'm not only competing in MMA. I've had kickboxing fights this year. I've been doing wrestling tournaments this year. I've just been, staying on the winning train and staying confident and just staying competitive and active. And I don't think there's anybody more active on the roster than me. So, just knowing and believing in myself that, no one's working harder than me. Perfect fight's going to go out there and just showcase that, and just another minute and a half submission.
Awesome. Well, I will be there to hopefully watch it. I can't wait.
Awesome.
You always put on a good show, brother. Have you got anything to say before we head out of here?
I just appreciate you again. I appreciate Hard Rock and everybody that gets the show on, the officials. I've gotten to meet a lot of these guys over the past few years for competing with them, and appreciate everything they do. I know it's not easy getting these fights ready and stuff, and appreciate you getting us out there to just kind of voice our story a little bit before the fights, and getting to talk about my gym, my students. I love talking about them. They're all I think about. So to be able to give them some praise, it makes me happy. I thank everybody at the gym, the parents, my family, everybody that's the family on the mats. I can't thank you all enough. This belt, it wouldn't have happened if it weren't for you guys, and defending it wouldn't happen if it weren't for you guys. This is all for us. The train's going to keep going. Gas tank don't go dry.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming on. I always have a great time talking to you, either here or at the fights. And I thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And you guys go out and get your tickets for HRMMA 126. And this is, like I said, an absolutely stacked card. There's some awesome fights on this card, and I'm so excited for August 9th. So come get your tickets and support these guys. Thank you again, Jordan.